Hi, so today I'm going to show you how to take all this lovely foliage that you got sent in your kit and make it into a really beautiful, luscious, full garland with loads of texture and movement. So the principle of making garland is kind of similar to making a wreath, for any of those of you that made the wreath, but you're going to bind it onto this lovely piece of string. So to start, you just take your wire and then you're just going to twist it onto the end of the string like you would with an old-fashioned freezer bag. You're just going to twist it around itself. And that is going to hold itself in place. So the reason we use the string to sort of give you a guide for how the foliage is going to flow along. And this principle is the same as if you're going to make like a head garland or a whacking great 5-meter garland to go around a door. The basics are exactly the same. So we've got a whole range of different foliages here. Lots of lovely evergreens, and I've got a few sort of dead crispy bits and dead branches. You know I love a dead branch. Well, I just think that gives it a bit more texture and interest. Okay, so to start your garland, you're just going to take a small posy, maybe 2 or 3 pieces, slightly longer pieces, and you lay them on top of the string, on top of the wire, and then it is the same as with making a wreath. You're just wrapping the wire around the stems. The basic principle is, if you think of making a plait, like a hair braid, you're going to be thinking that your pieces are going to go on to the side, on the top, to the other side, on the top, to the side, to the top, to the side. And you just want to be thinking about that kind of 3 positions all the way down your string. And you also want to make sure that you lay the next bit on top of the workings of the last bit, but not so far down that you will create a break. They need to lay on top, and that's what gives you a really lovely, secure bind on your garland, which will kind of allow it to be manipulated and moved in a really nice way. Pulling it nice and tight so that it feels nice and secure, but not so tight that you're strangling the very blood life out of it. So I'm adding sort of just interesting elements all the way through. I love a dead branch. I just think it gives really nice texture and interest. And we've got these really beautiful dried panic grasses, which give this kind of like crazy fiber optic texture within the garland. And what's important is not to forget, not just to do it on the sides, but don't forget to go on the top, because that's what gives you this really lovely 3D volume to your garland. Otherwise they can look quite flat. No one likes flat looking garland on a table or on a mantelpiece. Always. So again, just keeping in mind that lovely sort of plaiting motion, the 1, 2, 3 angles every time you're adding the foliage. Give you lots of really lovely shape and texture. So this piece is going to go over to the left. Take a little bit of dead branch with it. Wrap that round. And the next piece will go straight on top. Next piece will go over to the right. Making sure to catch the tips of the stems of the previous bundle with the wire, so you don't get that kind of garland break. It has this really lovely ability to sort of manipulate it and twist it because of the wire, whereas if you don't catch the last of the stem, you get what's called the break, and it will literally break. So you lose that lovely sort of fluidity of movement as it goes up and down your garland, your stairs, or whatever it is that you're putting your garland on. So you can also wire things like pine cones into your garland, and you do that by just taking the pine cone and wrapping the wire through the lower levels of the cone itself, and then just twisting that on itself, and then you effectively create it on its own stem. And then you can just treat the wire as though it was the pine cone stem, and you can just lay that in. Probably best to wire up your cones ahead of starting, because otherwise you'll have to cut your garland, the wire that you're wrapping your garland with. And as we know, we don't cut the wire until the end. And neither in wreath making or in garland making. The wire is going to stay connected until we are completely finished. And it's always really nice just to keep using different textures, you know, thinking that each bundle doesn't just include the same ingredient, that you're just trying to spread the all the textures throughout. It gives you this really lovely, luscious feel. And then you don't have to put your garland up straight away. If you're not ready to decorate and use it immediately, you can literally just leave it outside on the grass or just outside, and the moisture in the air will help to keep it really fresh until, you know, if you wanted to use it on your Christmas table, or just bring it in for the actual festivities. But equally, if you want to bring it in and put it up, it will just, you can mist it, you know, with the water mister. That will help keep it fresh. But to be honest, they just kind of get a bit crispy, and I kind of dig that. I really like that guy, but I just don't think he's going to work. So I've given you this really lovely sort of bundle of quite long floppy silver birch, but what I really love doing with it is just snapping it down and making it into a little bundle of silver birch branches. I just really like snapping them down so you get like a little cluster together. And then you just work that in. Bits of foliage, and you're just gonna wrap that in there for just a really nice little twiggy burst. And I just think it's all these little bits that make your garland stand out from the kind of really very generic sort of silver spruce garlands that you can buy on the high street. And it's just such a lovely sensory thing to do. It's just, you know, just slowly selecting each piece, thinking about it, cutting them down, leaving some bits to be quite long and gestural, and then just watching it. It takes its time, and then suddenly you think, wow, I've actually done quite a lot. But it's just a really lovely thing to do at Christmas. Get halfway, put it down, come back to it a bit later. It's not going anywhere. It's just a really nice way to bring a bit of the outside in for your Christmas decorations. Really beautiful different selection of foliages. You've got these lovely conifers, bits of pine, some really nice Parva eucalyptus. Everything is British grown. A whole load of dead branches, my favourite. And what else have we got? Alder, conifer, spruce, yeah, panic grasses. All the good stuff to make your island a little bit more unusual, which frankly is what I think it's all about. What I would really encourage you to do is to keep quite a bushy, forgiving bit of conifer to the end, like something a bit like this, because it makes it so much easier to fasten off and kind of disguise a multitude of sins. So I did leave your string a little bit longer than the 2 meters. If you've got, just use up all the foliage. If you've got more foliage, get to the end. Otherwise, if you want to stop because you're doing it to an exact length, just trim the string off. And if you want to make 2 garlands, you just trim the string as long as you need it to be. Okay, so when we get to the end, you're going to do it in 2 parts. First, you're going to take, everything becomes a bit shorter at this point. You want to be working with slightly shorter bundles. And you make one, which is going in the opposite direction, which is going to be your end. And you turn around, start going the other way, tuck those stems in, and just wrap. So you turn them and place them in the opposite direction, tuck the stems in, and wrap. So that kind of gives you the end, but you've sort of got this bit where you can see the wire. So, us perfectionists like to hide these things, which is where your nice bushy bits come in, because they hide the wire really well. So I'm just going to make it, I'm going to add one more shorter length here to make that other end feel sort of as naturally full as all the other bits. So I'll lay that out at a sort of, a slight angle, so we've got this nice fullness. Wrap that one in. So we kind of did left, right, and then the last bundle is going to be the middle, and it's going to be very short. I'll even shove a little branch in there just for fun. And we're going to lay that on the top, kind of tuck those stems in, and then you wrap the foliage around. Because it's so bushy, it does wonders at just hiding, and then you can sort of tease it over a little bit and wrap the wire around again, and it all kind of disappears. And then you just sort of gently tease bits of foliage to cover it, and then you kind of can't see where you started and where you finished. To finish off, you're just going to cut your wire and then take your string, tie a little knot. And then cut those down. And that is your garland. Perfect to dress any festive mantelpiece or dining table, over your door, wherever.